So our next video in this series is what's called a double V-fold, and that's simply one V-fold where at the edges of that fold, you're putting another V to do some more action from there. And you'll find the more you add to the sides, the more exponential the movement becomes. And we're all about getting some good movement because that's the whole big deal about pop-ups anyway. So I want to show you guys how to do that. So first of all, I'm going to set it up like the V-fold I did in the video before this. And then I'm going to add some to the side. So I'll show you really quickly. We'll go quickly through the beginning steps, and then I'll show you how you add on the additional V's to have that double V-fold effect. So here's our page. I'm using cardstock, and I have drawn a line down the middle just so it's easier for you guys to see where that middle fold is. We're going to have to cut some V's and then put them lined up with this fold to fold. So it's a lot easier if you can see where that actually is. So to make a good V-fold, one that I'm cutting out, I'm going to take this piece of paper. This is a brown piece of paper, fairly hard. I'm going to take a right angle corner here, hold on to that, and I'm going to make a pretty large one because some of the other folds are going to come off of this. So I'm still holding on to that right angle. Now I'm going to match one side to the other and then cut off what I don't need. I'm going to make each line really sharp, creased. So here, I'm holding on to the folded section. I'm going to cut a right angle to it. Now, as this opens up, I'm going to look to see exactly where that middle is. You may not be able to see this, but I'm drawing that middle. There we go. I'm going to have this fold line up with the fold underneath. And just like in the other videos, I'm going to take some tape and tape along the edges like this. I could go all the way to the edges, but I don't want to go beyond the edges. That'll ruin the movement. And to make sure this first V works, I'm going to pull on that middle section and close it, move it a few times and make sure that movement works really well. Here's my first V, just like in the previous video. But now I set aside some extra V's. To do this, I had a piece of paper that I folded and then I cut out two at the same time. Actually, like this. I held onto the corner, cut out, that way I know they're the same size. That's a trick. These have a fold right there in the middle like that, both of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up those folds with these new folds I have on the side. So if I can figure out how to sketch this, there's the rest of my fold. I'm going to take this new one, this blue one, and put it right over that edge. And then I have to tape the two sides. One, and let me make this a little smaller. Here is two. So just like the brown one, I have to pull out a little bit to make sure that it gets used to being worked on. There we go. Look at that extra movement on that side. Now the second one, I'm going to prepare some tape. I'm going to put it on this side. You know, I might even make it a little bit shorter. I'm trimming off a small section. That'll give me a little bit more to work with. I'm going to match up fold to fold and pop that one out. And you'll see the mechanism like this. Now, I don't have to orient them, the openings that way. I can flip them around. And go that direction. Had to have a lot of movement. Now, how can you use this? That's a great question. I've got a final piece that I want to show. This is one of a shark. Look at that movement. You can see underneath the head, this is one V-fold on the side of the first V-fold, which in this case is yellow. I have this one under that back end of the shark, and I put it upside down, if that makes sense. So I've got lots of this movement. Now, to make the shark look really big, I drew a very small scuba diver. And to give it a little bit of setting, I drew a sunken ship, just because that's really fun. This is a double V-fold example. You can see it has a lot of action. And there we have it. Have fun with what you can create too.